Dawson's Creek debuted on January 13, 1998. In the weeks leading up to its premiere, as the cast completed filming the first episodes, they sat down to share their views of the show that was about to captivate the nation.
Action!
Dawson is a 15-year-old precocious filmmaker. He's a bit of an innocent, a little naive, quite idealistic. He's real romantic.
You mean you haven't even kissed that girl?
It's not about the kiss, Joey. It's about the journey. It's about creating and sustaining magic. Dawson and I are quite a bit alike. I mean, he really does remind me of myself at 15.
I just think our emerging hormones are destined to alter our relationship, and I'm trying to limit the fallout.
Your emerging hormones aren't developing a thing for me, are they? Dawson and Joey share kind of a really great bond that falls in between the cracks of labels. I'm here for you. I was here for you in the 6th grade. I'm here for you now, okay?
Suddenly they're 15 and everything's changing. I mean, Dawson is really the only stable person in her life. And Joey, she thinks she has feelings for him.
What have we learned from tonight's 90210 evening?
We should always stay home on a Saturday night and watch movies, because the remote and the rewind of life does not work. If they actually did kiss and start something, I don't think it would really work, because they are such good friends. It would probably mess things up.
I've never thought of Joey in a romantic context. Yeah, I've always thought of her as like a sister.
Yeah, I mean, these two are buddies. They've obviously been buddies for a long time. You know, in Westerns, there's like the lead cowboy and then the guy who rides on the donkey. That's me. I'm the sidekick. I come in and I cause a little ruckus and then I go right off on my donkey somewhere. The total troublemaker. I mean, anything he can do to draw focus and just cause a little ruckus and make people a little uncomfortable, that's what he does.
You see, my problem is I have a focus issue. I need a slave driver. Somebody with a whip, maybe?
Pacey?
The reason Pacey gets involved with Tamara initially is just because he's being a goofball, and it's something fresh, and she's like a new joke to Pacey initially, but then all of a sudden it gets heavy, and then I think there's a real sweet, tender, emotional relationship that he has with her that goes beyond him just being a loudmouth. It goes way beyond him being, I hope. Watch the show. If I do it well, that's what it should be. And if I don't do it well, that's what I was trying to do.
I got the girl this time, Dawson.
What?
Yeah. Call it the law of averages, call it an act of God, call it whatever you want, but I got her.
Having discussions about teen sexuality, I don't think that's a bad thing, because it happens, and it's going to happen, and if you don't put it on television, you know, it's going to happen anyhow. It doesn't really matter. So if you can have something positive that teenagers of this age or of any age can relate to, then I think that's a really good thing.
If I said that I never thought about having sex with you, I'd be lying. Because the thought crosses my mind about 1,000 times a day.
That's one of the really good things about Dawson's Creek. You got 4 different main characters, so you get 4 answers to every question.
You know, when did everyone become so obsessed with sex? And now you too, Dawson. She is a nice girl, and I think it's a result of her relationship with Dawson, because they talk to each other and they analyze everything, and so she's pretty mature.
So what about you and Dawson?
Dawson will always see me as, you know, the gawky little girl down the creek with the Band-Aids on her knees and the one braid falling out. You know, in the beginning, Joey just didn't like her because of the Dawson thing, and I think deep down she does like her. I mean, she's mad that she likes her, because she doesn't want to, you know? And she just, Jen is supposed to be this snotty girl from New York, and she's not. She's a nice girl from New York, and it just makes Joey even more mad, you know? Why you have to be like this?
Like what?
So nice. God.
You have some raging hormonal obsession for our friend Dawson, and you just can't wait to get your hooks into him. But good, can you?
Pacey's so funny and out there, and, you know, says whatever he wants to say, and Joey does sometimes too, so I think they do get a rise out of each other.
Could it be Joey is finally noticing the opposite sex? Excuse me, young man. This woman here thinks you're very attractive.
I mean, it's definitely racy, and we do push, you know, as far as we can go with our one-liners about, I mean, we do talk about sex a lot and have a lot of terms referring to a lot of slang. I mean, there's some things we just can't say.
No, that's just not true. Joey, I can tell you anything.
Yeah? How often do you walk your dog, huh?
You know, teenagers who've watched the pilot have said to, you know, their parents or to me that, you know, this is the way I wish I could talk. I wish I could have this discussion with my friends. I wish I could sit down and actually have this out.
This is not about sex, Pacey. It's about romance. God, you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I think we deal very responsibly with these issues, and I think it's great that we deal with them. And I think it's great that the characters talk about them.
Pacey talks a lot. Like he's got all this experience. It's a lot of bluster.
Someone once said that the more a person talks about it, the worse they are at it.
It seemed honest and truthful and real to me, so I never figured it to be controversial, but I guess it is.
They grow up too fast, stay out too late, hang out with the wrong kind of people, have sex too young.
And your parents wanted to get you away from kids like that?
No, Dawson, there was kids like that.
Teenagers growing up now will look at what these characters are going through and say, yes, I identify. And I think anybody who's ever gone through that age will look at that and say, yeah, I remember that.